a fun day of part collecting and meeting some people who recognized us from YouTube yesterday. We are, I think, kind of ready to fix this water pump for good. Fingers crossed.
Ever since we splashed back in the water from the boatyard, we have been having trouble with our engine overheating due to our raw water intake. So that is the first thing we'll be tackling today.
We are going from this 3/4 diameter hose down to 1/2-inch diameter hose, which is what everybody online and the engine spec recommends. I got all of this really nice double braided hose at a marine consignment shop for only $5. But it's dirty, so I'm gonna go clean it first. $5, double braided hose. And that's why you go hang out in marine consignment shops. Nice, we got like an extra 10 feet of it. Too good to let go, as Casper would say. Okay, so we're gonna kind of lay this out on the floor, how it's all gonna connect together as we figure this out. Got an in and an out. We're gonna need to re-Teflon tape these, but we have 5/8 coming in, which is a little bigger than a 1/2 inch, but not too much. And I don't think that's the part that's causing the problem. And then we have 1/2 inch out. So then we have our 1/2 inch hose. But this is what I was talking about when I said that this is like 19 mil, where it's like this guy is basically the same size. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use one of these just little connector adapters right as close to the water pump as we can. I know some people said not to use the Teflon tape and use something else, but Teflon tape's kind of all we got at the moment. So we're just gonna continue to try to use that and see if we can get a nice airtight seal. First we gotta clean out, like, since it's all like old, not old, plenty good, but previously used parts, we gotta do a little cleaning first.
Anchor there at least. But yeah, it's all on the charts. We're about 10 minutes out now, so we'll get in, see what it's like.
And yes, I am catching up on a little bit of a sailing YouTube while sitting and just painstakingly cleaning these guys out. Sailing Indiana, Chris and Lauren, a couple from the UK, pretty cool. Maybe check them out. I always kind of hate using Teflon tape, but it's what we got. We already did that one. Try again. Looks pretty good. Just come around. I'm making it look easy. Now let's thread this through here. And probably not perfect, but it seems airtight. You know, might not be the most beautiful thing of all time, but as long as it works, if I could just get our engine to start up and spew water. Gosh, just when you start it up, if I could just hear that water go out, oh my gosh, I'd be so happy. So this is our intake. We're gonna wrap this guy around here. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. We're gonna use this adapter, which is 3/4 to 1/2, with a very short 3/4 piece of hose. We're gonna go down to 1/2. Kind of a new addition, but hopefully it doesn't cause too much problem. If anybody has any like actual methods to test it instead of me just sucking on stuff, which that's a clip, you know, let me know. Unfortunately, I think on our journey I lost the O-ring, but we have one spare. Last time I tried to use like the glycerin, which is what the packet came with, but it was tough because I didn't have the water pump off, so I feel like I didn't really get enough of the lubrication in there. I don't know, a lot of people say dish soap, so I'm just gonna use some Dawn dish soap in here to try to help lubricate it. We immediately broke the spline off the one impeller after like just 2 weeks of use. And I don't know if like maybe it was just dry rotted because it was old or what. We're gonna try to make sure that things are well lubricated so that hopefully it can spin a little easier. The other thing is I'm gonna put like a little bit of Vaseline. We have one stripped screw, which is like a frustrating kind of story. And I don't really think it's affecting things too much. We're gonna put just a little Vaseline on the outside, making sure not to get it on the inside because Vaseline's like not great to be in here, but just to maybe help seal just it a little bit better. Just put like a little bit in. We'll give that a little bit of a Dawn dish soaping as well. which it'll be fantastic if I have to get this out, because it'll be impossible. Oh, I should have lubricated it after. What did I do? What have I done? So we're gonna put just a little bit right on the outside, just where there's a little bit of possible air seepage here. We're not gonna make these too tight, because that's how I stripped the last one, and now I'm sad. Going real gentle, because I'm not stripping another screw in these, because then I'm buying a whole new water pump. Which I probably am eventually. Might be good just to have a backup water pump anyway. Oh no! Literally set it down for 1 second, immediately forgot to put the hose clamp back on. My hands increasingly more lubricated. Great for the skin, bad for trying to hold on to anything. I don't know, that's holding pretty well. I'm impressed. Okay, now the real question is, when we put it all back together, is it actually gonna work? I don't know why I feel so nervous. Like, I've taken this thing apart so many times now. It's like I'm a professional. Professionally hitting the camera, I guess. So if this does not fix it, another kind of like option that people suggested was the hose is too long, which could be true, and also that the water strainer is too high, which could also be true. Okay, so one thing that we have not done yet, gotten this on with the belt that's right here. So we're gonna have to be kind of mindful of that. So you can see like the belt here. You want like a little bit of play in this, but not like too much play. I'm coming in. I mean, that seems like the right amount of play. It's like tight, but not too tight. You know what I'm saying? It's tough though, because I've never worked with belts like this before. The salt, like the salt water down here, or getting down here, is just like sticking to everything, destroying stuff. And I love this engine. I do not want it to get salty and corroded. Here is to not using my pants as a napkin anymore. Okay, so I think it's just priming and then giving it a go. Ah! So strainer. Might have to just fill it here. I don't know if it's just dumping right back into the ocean. I feel like there's no way that this actually fixes it. That's just the vibe I'm getting. But fingers crossed, you know? Maybe it could just be this easy. As if this was easy. You got water coming out. Yeah. Lots of it, yeah. Success! We have water coming out at like 1200 RPMs, but that was with me priming it. So the real test is gonna be like, let it sit for 10, 15 minutes, start it up again. Do we have water coming out immediately? Or is it gonna make me prime it again? Because I really don't wanna have to prime it again. Okay, we're gonna try the engine again. Okay, it took like 30 seconds or so to kind of like crunch the air bubbles in there, which again, air bubbles are not great. The pump should be able to handle like ripping through a bit of them. But after about 30 seconds, water started flowing right through. So that gets me pretty excited. We're gonna let it sit for longer this time. That was about 20 minutes. We'll probably try like an hour, see how that goes, and then, you know, try like 6 hours or something. Just started it up for, I think like this was test number 2 or 3. Not even 30 seconds. Water swooshing right through. Water coming right out the back. Perfection.
We are currently in St. Augustine and we are attempting our first 2-night sail over to Charleston.
Hoping that it doesn't take us 2 nights, but I feel like the timing of it makes it so we're either gonna get there right before dark, or we're gonna just slow down a ton and then get there right in the morning, Tuesday morning. I think we're gonna try to do a little bit longer of shifts this time. Last time we did 2 hours, this time I think we're gonna try to do 4 hours.
It's getting less hard and less scary every time.
Yeah, I'm hoping our engine continues to just work. That would feel great if we could just like kick it on whenever we needed it, instead of having to mess with it
Every
for
time.
10 minutes to get it to work. Testing, testing, you look cute.
With the water system working, we set off on our longest sail yet, from St. Augustine, Florida to Charleston, South Carolina. We took off after sunrise, planning to be at sea for 2 nights. The inlet was crazy this morning, just a bunch of waves colliding with the current. Inlets are always the worst part, and it's best to hit them at slack tide if you can.
Getting out of that inlet was a little tough, but we made it through just okay. Now we're sailing, engine off, 6 knots.
Feels good.
Feels good.
On our last sail, we tried 2-hour shifts for the first time, and this time we decided to bump it up to 4 hours. I have to say, my love for being at sea is growing every time we're out here. You know, just like listening to some music, watching birds, watching fish, just it's very peaceful, and I love that a lot. Also, the basics of sailing is getting a lot easier, like getting the sails in and out is just, it's not like this huge, I have no idea what I'm doing, it's just like a task that I do quick, and that's awesome. So, excited to continue and see how much more I fall in love with this and how much easier and harder, but easier it gets as well.
13 hours into this like 36, 38 hour sail. Overall feeling pretty good. I'm ready to lay down. I just finished kind of my second 4-ish hour shift. We've been averaging kind of like 4.5 to 5.5 knots with about 10 to 12 knots of wind. Trying to learn how to play with like the trim of the sails to see if we can get any more speed out of it. We just turned down into the wind, so we had the waves behind us, so we can kind of like both use the bathroom and switch over, because for whatever reason in the beginning it didn't dawn on me that we could just like do this, but when we were sailing with Hunter, when we would need to use the bathroom, he's like, okay, let's change this up so it's more comfortable in there. So super pro tip, it's almost nighttime. We'll get like some nice video of the sunset here in a second, and then we'll kind of hit night shift.
I don't know what you're singing, but I like it. This will be my second shift. I have to say night shifts are much harder, not just because it's hard to stay awake, which it is, but because we can't see the horizon. It can make motion sickness worse, and it's not uncommon for us to struggle more with feeling sick at night. But on the bright side, there's been no seasickness during the day since we crossed back to the States.
2/3 of the way done with the sail. I think we're at like hour 27 or 28.
Decided we're gonna go in at night. We're not gonna slow down.
Yep, I think from looking at the anchorage, from looking at a lot of reviews from other people, it should be pretty simple. The wind will be blowing from shore, not a lot, like 8 knots of wind, and we should be able to just anchor without too much trouble. Overall, the night went pretty well. Michaela was getting a little queasy, so I took over.
And then he got queasy.
And then I got queasy.
It's so much harder at night when you can't really see the horizon.
Yeah, and it was pretty rolly, honestly.
The wind died down, so there's not a lot of airflow.
Yeah, but, you know, made it through it. Being queasy, I threw up twice, but that was nothing. Yeah, now I feel fine. We just got like 12 more hours, and I'm excited to get to Charleston.
I'm also excited to get to Charleston. I'm so thrilled we're out of Florida.
Yeah, we like,
That's South Carolina.
So that's pretty sick. Like, it's funny that we took our boat to a different country before we took it to a different state. And like, I'm pretty proud of us just for like the fact that we have been able to take a couple of these ocean hops like this, where we just said, okay, we're gonna do an overnight sail. Like the conditions look decent, we're just gonna go for it. And then we did, I think, like 160 miles to go from West Palm Beach to St. Augustine, and now we're doing 190-ish, just a touch over, to go from St. Augustine to Charleston. And it's, you know, every time we do it, it feels a little easier. It's never that fun going through a bunch of shipping channels, but so far so good.
I am starting my third or fourth shift, I can't remember, but basically we got like 12 hours left. So we're both very ready to be there and excited. I'm excited that we pushed all the way to Charleston and we get to like hang out there for a minute. We don't have to hop away right again. So we still have like a whole month left to get to Chesapeake. And we're more than halfway there at this point.
Turn around and show your face. Let me see parts of you. Oh my, our bodies interlace, slow and easy. And I can reach you from a distance. I can, so beautiful. I can hear you within the silence. We will dance away the gloomy days.
I like your sun hut.
Thank you. It's actually so much cooler though.
Close to 6 knots.
Nice, that's pretty good. Good watch, love. I know, it's a baby dolphin. Yeah, they're playing.
They like swimming with the boat. So much faster than the boat they keep having to loop.
Yeah, I know.
It's had a magical experience.
Yeah, we got 4 dolphins up swimming in front of the boat.
It's like 2 bigger ones and 2 babies.
It was so, the baby ones were so cute.
Oh my gosh.
It's like things like that that make it kind of worth it.
Yeah.
When you're like almost 40 hours into a sail, like, what am I doing to myself? And then you get to see dolphins and you're like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
I guess that's fine. So yeah, we got about like 4 or 5 hours left before we make it into the channel and drop anchor.
It was a bit strange to experience sunrise, go through an entire day, and then head into sunset again, still out at sea. This might sound cheesy, but one of my favorite life changes since buying the boat is watching the sunset. Unfortunately, we lived our lives in such a way before where we rarely saw the sunset, and now we get to watch it every single day. We were approaching the inlet after dark, so we had the choice of either taking the Charleston Inlet at night or wasting some time out at sea until sunrise. We decided to head in so that we could get some real sleep and maybe eat some food. We are like an hour out from this channel and realized that our nav lights aren't working. Well, the green side, so green is working, red is not. So Patrick is currently putting a red light up there. Yeah, and I don't think our tricolored light is working either. So I flipped on another light up there, so we're visible, but it's always something. I'm feeling a little bit panicked, trying not to be, but it's so frustrating that the worst part of every sail is always at the end. It's like after 2 long days, you just want to eat something and go to sleep, but First, we have to get through this channel in the dark and anchor,
So not the perfect time to find out your tricolor light and port side red light aren't working. So we just went and strapped a red headlamp to the port side where the light usually is. Hopefully that's good enough. It's always something.